our personality level, right? Our minds tell us that we are not in sync. So we are experiencing time and lack of synchronicity at various levels of our reality. So our minds tell us that we are not in sync. So when things don't go right, when things go haywire, they go wrong, or everything just feels like, oh, it's too late, or it feels like, oh my God, it's too much for this short period of time, or we feel like, oh, it's so far away, I can't wait for it to come, right? When we're in that state, it is our mind, right? Our mind is telling us that we are not in sync with the universe. So we get agitated, right? We get this anxiety. And then we also experience this differently on the emotional level, because the emotional level, we could also feel stress, right? We could feel fear. We could feel all of these. We could feel anger, even like angry with other people for being so slow. We feel angry with other people for being so fast, right? Like moved ahead, like without waiting for us, right? All these things. So we feel like everything is chaotic. And then on the body level, right, we can also feel the sense of ungroundedness. We feel a sense of like, oh, agitation deep in the core of our being, and feeling like everything is just going to fall apart. Nothing is going to work out. But on the spirit level, it's a totally different reality. On the spirit level, your higher self, right, or your spirit, your soul, sees the entire situation. And even if on a personality level you feel in a wrong time, wrong space, wrong situation, the spirit level feels that everything is all right. The spirit level knows that even if your personality perceives that you're in a wrong space, wrong time, making mistakes over and over again, and getting stuck in a particular pattern, the spirit within you feels that it is what it is needed, right? It is as it should be. So the spirit level is very calm about it. The spirit level sees like, oh, okay, yeah, it's just the way it is. And that all you need is some crisis, some trauma to break the pattern and get you back on track. That's how spirit sees it. Your own soul sees it. And so that's why, when you go through trauma, when you go through difficult times, it feels as if your soul or your higher self or your spiritual self is just sitting there, just watching. It's like, help, help. And they don't seem to be helping. They just say, okay, carry on, right? So your spiritual self sees the bigger picture, and your spiritual self knows that you need a crisis, you need a trauma in order to break that pattern. And then you can get back in order. You can get back into synchronicity with the universe, and then things will then work out. So it's like we are coexisting on so many different levels. So we are here. So the universe is moving in this pattern, this big pattern, right? And then we are supposed to move it with it. And then what happens is we get caught up. So our ego gets caught up with this thing, and then we get distracted. So we go, instead of flowing with the universe, we get stuck in another pattern, a spin-off, so to speak, right? Somewhere else, right? We do our own thing. But your spiritual self or your higher self is still very patient, waiting for you to repeat your pattern 1001 times until you hit a crisis. And then when you break out of that pattern, you will rejoin the bigger pattern of the universe. So as people on the spiritual path, sometimes it feels so confusing, because on one level you feel like, yeah, I should just allow and go with the universe. Then on another level, you feel like anxiety, you feel anger, you feel all sorts of things, because you are a multi-level being, right? You have your mind, you have your emotions, you have your body, and then you have your spiritual self. All of these combined together can make life very confusing. Okay, so it's important to be able to see this so that you accept and you understand. Like, okay, I feel all this confusion because there's so many parts of me. And these many parts of me are just experiencing time experiencing space, experiencing the experience differently.